on my lunchtime walk. You know what I'm saying? Inspired by my guy Jay Tuck. I want to do more live content. Hopefully, I could do a live tonight. See if I can get somebody on live tonight and we could talk a little bit. We could talk about this Cowboys team. Because when I do my Monday videos, I've noticed that the algorithm ain't messing with it too much. I think that, talking to the audience, talking to people might be a little better, you know, engaging with the fan base, the hurt fan base, the hurt Cowboys fan base. So we're going to keep walking, get a couple people that tune in. Then I'm going to talk about why my feelings towards Rico have changed. I'll say exactly what my feelings were and why they've changed. So I feel like when it comes to Rico, you can go ahead. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I feel like with Rico, what's changed about everything right now is, for me, I don't really trust the front office. I don't trust Mike McCarthy. Right now, I think the way that things are leaning, I think Mike McCarthy's probably going to be back. And so you got to think, okay, if Mike McCarthy's back, because that's one constant that can't happen. You know, you guys keep playing hard. Some of these young guys start showing improvement. Like Mike can work with them, especially the offensive line, which they're playing phenomenal right now. You could see that they could run it back with Mike. And, a lot of players are begging for it. And, if they keep improving, they can get the fan base back that way with the splash signing here or two or a draft pick. What's going on, Todd Church? What's going on? So my initial thoughts are that the front office, the coaching staff will think that their plan worked as far as just running back by committee, then going with Rico. And then I fear that there is some complacency when it comes to that. I fear that they will look at this loaded running back class and say, we're going to bring a guy in here that's complimentary to Rico. We'll pay Rico a bag, you know what I'm saying, a big bag, and then we'll say, well, we got to get somebody that's comes, on the back burner. I don't think that Rico is good enough to mortgage your future again at the running back spot. I just don't. I think he's really good. I think that Rico is a good RB2. You know what I'm saying? He's probably top tier. He's probably top tier when it comes to that. Like, definitely top half when it comes to that. Maybe top 6, top 7. My boy Elton, he gonna release a list of running backs that he feels like is better than Rico currently in the league. And then you got this draft, and when you talk about the draft, there's probably like 20 backs there. Probably like 20 backs. Where I think that, you get younger legs, you get guys with more confidence, guys that are shiftier, quicker. So originally I was like, let's get rid of Rico. I was like, let's get rid of him because I don't want the thoughts creeping in their minds, the front office or Mike. It had nothing to do with Rico because, quite frankly, I love what Rico's doing right now. And if you're watching, man, I don't want you to think that I'm hating at all. I'm glad that you're running the bag up right now. Glad that you're taking the opportunity of your reps. If you watched the video that I did in the offseason, I know that you did. I know that your family tuned in. So you're doing exactly what I asked you to do. You're playing confident football right now. And that's all one could really ask. Quite frankly, you're doing better than I thought originally. Doing much better than I thought originally. As far as, being an undrafted guy, not really getting the opportunities and stuff like that and injuries. Rico has surpassed everybody's expectation. There's nobody out there that Rico could do this. For the most part, the things you were hearing is that Rico's better than Zeke, or that Rico should get some opportunities with Tony on the squad. But nobody thought that Rico could be a 1,000-yard back and Looks like he's well on pace to be 1,000-yard back. Rico might be looking at 1,100 to 1,200 yards, and that's a hell of a year. So I'm gonna tell you where my thoughts changed. My thoughts changed is I would like to bring him back if I could really trust the process of them going out and bringing in people. If, like, you know what I'm saying, like really vetting the running back room this time and saying we gonna get a running back. My trust issues go further than anybody else's because I've been doing work on the running backs for a long time. You know, I made it a point this year to attack the run game, be the run game guy. You know what I'm saying? The linemen, the running backs. I made it a point to attack the run game, and whether it was good, whether it was bad. We're gonna talk about the truth, whether it's good or it's ugly, you know. And expect me to probably do another video when it comes to the run game because we had a good day against the worst run defense in the league. And if you guys know, you guys follow me on Twitter, I expected Rico to go over 100. Rico didn't do anything that I didn't expect with how this offensive line is blocking and executing. And, you know what I'm saying, the young guys are finally starting to get it. And I think early on in the year, we made some mistakes thinking guys were a little bit further along than they are. And I think that was the mistake in the run game. Not only that, but we weren't utilizing our strengths as far as the front line goes. Now you're seeing the push that we're getting. You know, if you guys have been tuning into my videos, you see the push. We're getting a great push on the interior. Shout out to my guy, Brock Hoffman. That's really the guy that should get the bag. That's really who we should pay, I think, because it doesn't matter where he moves. He can move to center. He can move to guard. I think that's been the wild card as far as the success in the run game. But if I could trust, and they'd have to show me some things in the draft process as to whether or not I can trust them, because they've looked up running backs, but we haven't drafted any. We haven't even called any. We haven't called any in the offseason as far as veterans go. I think they really believe that the Great Wall of Dallas, I'm starting to believe that they think that it was the line and not Emmett. But if you look at it, I mean, look at how many combinations we've had on the offensive line this year. We've had 11 of them, right? And we are executing, don't get me wrong. But what that means is we're developing the young guys, the guys that they have put all the resources into as far as the line goes. We've drafted undrafted guys. Like we poured a lot of resources into the offensive line. So eventually it's to become what it's becoming right now. And they're young with Zach Martin being out. It's a young group and they're still wet behind the ears. So this is what we wanted to create, right? Now you just got to go over the top and you got to get a running back with some speed, with some home run ability. Because let's just keep it honest. There's 2 games where Rico got over 20 carries. And we won both of them. And we dominated them in the trenches. That's the Pittsburgh game. And that's the game that happened yesterday. The formula's there if we want it. The identity's there if we want it. And I feel like I've known that. I've been preaching that. It's there if we want it. And I think that you could fully embrace that by getting a guy that's better than Rico. And lucky for us, this draft is full of guys that have better pedigree that will push Rico. So maybe we draft a guy and Rico steps his game up to the next level. And then that only makes everything that we're doing that much better. Right now, Rico is so much better than the rest of our running back room that it's not even fun. It's to the point now where I think that if you even take Rico off the field, that we still wouldn't be able to run as well. But even with all that, right? Even with Rico dominating the way that he is, even with all that, we're still not scoring touchdowns like that. We're driving. We're getting yards. We're controlling the clock a little bit when we are running, but we're not scoring. And part of it is when we get inside the 20, Rico's not as good. His strength isn't inside the 5. Good guy catching the ball out of the backfield, from 20 to 20. But Rico's not going to break no home runs. And short yardage, you know what I'm saying? Like, as far as the touchdowns go, I won't say he's a bad short yardage back. He might be able to get short yardage stuff. But when that box gets condensed a little bit, they started adding some of them heavy bodies and stuff like that, it's not the same. And that's where, you know what I'm saying, I look at it and I look at the numbers and I'm like, your running back one with the type of production that Rico's getting needs more than 1 touchdown. They need about 8. Rico should be at about 8 touchdowns right now. And there's nothing wrong with being the type of back that Rico is. I don't have an issue with it. I actually think that, like I said, he's a more than capable NFL player, you know what I'm saying, spot starter. And that's what he's pretty much doing right now. I just beg that these guys, if they are going to keep Rico, that they go out there, and if it's BPA, if it's the best player available, you know what I'm saying, no hard feelings, but we're going to bring in the guy. So if you ever heard me say I want Rico gone, has nothing to do with his play. I'm glad bro is running up the bag. I'm glad bro is balling out. I want him to continue to ball out. It reminds me of one of my favorite runs when Julius Jones, I said that on Twitter, when Julius Jones came in his rookie year, started getting comfortable, that's what it reminds me of what Rico's doing right now. But I think it was Foots the King that said something yesterday where it was Rico had, I think it was 25 carries, 149 yards or something like that. Maybe you guys can correct me. And his longest carry was 12 yards. Then I saw 2 carries yesterday from Turpin. And Turpin, it looked completely different with speed back there. And I'm not saying hand Turpin the ball back there, but yesterday with how Carolina was playing, I think Turpin might have been able to get what Rico got in 10 carries. I think with how we're blocking, how we're pushing the pile, how there are lanes there, how we have the attitude with our offensive line, you're starting to see the offensive line pointing forward, talking trash. Like, if we had somebody with speed back there, top end speed with home run ability, I think that we would be considered, we'd be one of the playoff teams right now. Just imagine if we had just gone out and got Aaron Jones this year with how we're blocking. There's no way you can't tell me, even with Cooper Rush, that this team wouldn't be fighting for a playoff spot considerably. Guy like Aaron Jones, Aaron Jones is definitely a starter in this league. One of the top guys. He's had a lot of production this year. So, those are my thoughts right there. Now, if you would have paired Aaron Jones and a Rico together, Jesus Christ. So I think we really missed it this year. And the thing that I was wrong about the whole Zeke experiment, because really what I thought it was, I thought that Zeke's toughness would be able to rub off on the room a little bit, And I don't know what was fumbled between him and the management, but I can admit that it was a failed experiment, and we shouldn't have brought him back under the pretenses that we did. And especially with, I just don't think that, I don't know that my guy Zeke is as invested in what's going on as he was in the beginning of the year. I think Zeke isn't running the way he was in the beginning. I truly believe that. Now, I do think that we showed flashes with him, leading with him until it was time for Rico to take over. And Rico's just playing with a high amount of confidence right now. Confidence means everything. So let me start looking at some of these comments, guys, because I'm just on a roll right now. Ty Church says, I'm still drafting the RB second or third round. I might even draft one in the first, bro. It just depends on where we fall. We keep winning games, we gonna be around the middle of the first round. And if your BPA just happens to be Genty, I don't think you pass up on that. Like I don't know that Genty goes top 10. No matter how good his year goes, y'all know how the draft process goes, and running backs go down the list. Running backs go down the list, and especially with how deep this class is, Genty might be looking at you as the best player left in the draft when you pick. So, I mean, I'm not passing up on it if he's the best player. Cardinals place is nothing has changed the last 3 games. They still played worse of the worst. They still need to plan for a running back. Yeah, Carnage, and I'll say this. I think we'll have a test in the next 2 games. We'll have the Bucks, and we'll have the Eagles. I think the Eagles are the ultimate test. And if we're able to still run the ball well, and we're still able to control the line of scrimmage like we've been doing, I'm not saying that we'll go for how we did yesterday, but if Rico's still at about, controlling the game at about 4 to 5 a carry against that Eagles defense, and I think you can say we got something. So, we still got some tests going down the stretch. So I'm excited to see those things. Let's see. Leon L, Rico balling, but running back still a priority. What's up, JC? What's up, man? Ty Church, he don't score though. Yep. Still need Genty or Hampton. My fear is they won't look at running back till round 3. Yeah, Deano, feel the same way. Feel the exact same way. Draft free agents starting to outshine draft picks. Hoffman is a generational Ron Leary. I'm glad you said that, bro. And I'm actually one of the people. I even said it last year. I thought that I like what we do when we have Hoffman and Bass in there at the same time. And guess what? The law offices of Hoffman and Bass were open yesterday. It was open all damn day. It was open until was it Bass that went down? I think Bass went down. And guess what? Still was open after he left. This young group, they play for each other. This offensive line, they play for each other. They like each other a lot. And you can tell that it's a culture. So let's build on that. Let's get them somebody. Let's get them a play toy back there. Let's get them somebody that will really show them that their effort is appreciated. Let's become that ground pound team. Let's become the AFC North in the NFC East. Let's become that tough team, right? Short Dog says we need a dog receiver to pair with CD. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. I don't even know if it needs to be a dog. It just needs to be way better than we got. Way better than we got. And you know how free agency works. I haven't really done a deep dive into that, but I do know that there's some guys in this draft that I like. And again, I'm not saying draft a running back first round. I'm only saying if that's your best player available, that's what you got to draft. And if your wide receiver is the best player available, that's what you got to draft. And if it's an edge, best player available, that's what you draft. If it's a linebacker, best player available, you draft it. If it's a safety, best player available, you draft it. First round pick has got to be impact. It's got to be impact. It can't be another project. Can't be another offensive lineman project where it's a tackle that we convert into another guard. Like, I think that we put enough resources there, and we've shown that we do have depth, even with all of the injuries we've had. So, I'm really happy with how the run game is going because, there is something to say about, look, you guys haven't played anybody. Cool. Well, we haven't played anybody, so we've done exactly what we're supposed to do. There's some silver lining with that. There is. All right, let me answer one question. I'm going to go in and have some lunch, man. I'm out here snotty nose and everything. So, all right. I wonder where would be if Dak was healthy. Team was healthy, maybe 11-6. I don't know because I think we're forced to play this way. Cooper Rush, he's not as good as Dak, and I think that we trust him. We trust Dak too much, if you get what I mean. Like, the game plans don't even look the same. So I think that maybe some of the things Dak likes in the game plan, it isn't some of the things that we like when it's with Cooper Rush. This has been 2 experiments that we've seen this, bro. And it has something to say with with maybe what our game planning is, maybe some of the things that we want to do. But I do think with Dak, we have to say whether you're making $60 million or not, bro, we have to commit to the run, to the play action, and we got to play that way. There's nothing wrong with it. Golf is doing that, and you can still will and deal. You can still be a guy that can control things, but we have to be able to run the ball. We have to be able to run the ball. We have to be able to put the volume up. We have to be able to adjust to the fronts. Even if the run isn't working early, we still have to commit to it. I don't care if you're making $60 million. We're only paying you what the market tells us we need to pay you. But as far as winning games, we got to go with the formula that our team is telling us that we're most comfortable playing, if that makes any sense. Let's see. Short dog always stand with Tolbert another season. I mean, he got to come back because his contract says so. As far as camp and stuff goes, I think he could be a June 1st cut. But hey, dog, I'm drafting or free agenting to get Tolbert off the roster, Brooks off the roster, Cooks off the roster. Like at this point, you look at what we've done at the receiver position as far as resources, and it's been putrid. We got to be better with resources there as well. We've probably been just as bad with resources at receiver as we have been at running back and safety, to be honest. If we're being real, some of these guys can just come in here, some of these undrafted guys, and they can just play. But we ain't offered no resources there as well. The things that we've offered resources to, we're good at. Corner. I think we're starting to get there. I don't know. I don't know that we've a whole bunch of edge, but I think recently we have. Offensive line, we've dumped a whole bunch of resources towards that. Linebacker, we did last year, and you start to see the young budding linebackers because we're getting better linebackers in here, which we've been asking for. So now it's all right. We asked for better linebackers. We asked for better running backs. Now let's get to the running backs. Let's get to the wide receivers. And also, man, I'm not against bringing in another defensive player opposite of Micah to really make this defense go over to another level, because I think the defense is closer than the offense. And a couple of years ago it was the other way around. So, things always change. Teams always change. Culture always changes from year to year. And so I think you just got to – I think Dallas just has to build on and be consistent with the direction that they want to go. Dallas is too all over. They're too all over in how they want to build. I think you got to build off something. You got to be good at something. When I'm coaching the team, it's like, all right, what are we good at? We're going to build off what we're good at. And I think we failed to kind of do that from year to year. And, hopefully we get better at it. All right, Regina Green said we need to keep Kendricks. But, yeah, man, Lola, does McCarthy stay? I think he does. I said that early on. I think McCarthy is going to stay. I don't want McCarthy back because I don't trust him at this point. Like, everybody keep talking about in the Bengals game, and this is the last point I'll make before I go in and eat. Everybody keep talking about the Cowboys would have won the game if we had gotten that kickback. Who's to say Mike wouldn't have thrown the ball 3 times in a row? Who's to say that we would have ran the ball one time, it wouldn't have been a good play call, or we wouldn't have executed it right, and then Mike would have put the ball in the air, and then we're at the 40-yard line, 45-yard line, and it's 3rd and 10. Who's to say that doesn't happen and we're in a long field goal situation and Aubrey finally cracks and don't make it? I'm at the point now where if I can't trust my coach to close out games, and this has happened before. That whole kick thing has happened before, and the special teams thing has gone on under his watch. So, I mean, for me, I kind of feel like I'm to the point where I can't really trust him to do simple things. And if I can't trust you as a coach to do simple things, then it might be time to move on. But I do want Mike Zimmer back as a defensive coordinator, whether or not Mike is gone. I do want Zimmer back. I like what we've built. I like what we're building with the young guys. And I think with another year, with maybe some more pieces, I think this defense could be one of the better ones. All right, y'all. But appreciate y'all. I'm out. Peace. Figure out how to close this thing out.